NFL Mailbag coming at you. Nate Frazier, you're first up here. Who takes over as Jags GM and head coach after this season?
That's a really good question. I don't know what path the Jags are going to end up pursuing here in terms of how they go about finding their new GM and they're finding their new head coach. I think the Jags' job will carry some semblance of interest.
A lot of draft picks, young picks.
Like it's not as good as Houston, where they already have their quarterback.
Yep.
It's maybe not as good as maybe the Falcons or Jets, but you'd be able to get a Justin Fields. So I think there is some intrigue there, plus a lot of draft picks. I don't know who the Jags GM will be. I think if you're looking for a head coach, once Doug Marrone is fired, how about Brian Dable? Go to Buffalo, pull him in, and there are a couple different current Buffalo assistant like GMs, those type of roles. I think you could hire too.
Okay.
I think whatever you do, if you hire the GM, he picks the head coach, or you hire them at the same time because those guys have to get along and work together.
This one's coming in from King Higgins. Could the Raiders go after Robert Salah as the DC if he leaves the 49ers since Gunther is atrocious? Gunther is horrible. I'm not sure if the Raiders do end up moving on from him. I believe so. I'm actually going to put my money on Salah potentially getting a head coaching job. There's been some reports out there that he might even get something at the Lions, or I guess.
Lions make a lot of sense. He's from the area.
Yeah, so for me, if I'm Robert Salah, I'm going to take a head coaching job. I'm going to go to Detroit.
Just to piggyback on this, you're not getting Salah as a DC. He's only going to leave for a head coaching job. Sorry.
Miss, appreciate the super chat. If you guys want to jump the line and get your question featured on the show, you got a super chat. What is the Hawks' biggest need, and who do we get?
Yeah, obviously in that mock draft, I had you guys getting an edge rusher. I see you mean Seahawks, by the way.
Or Trey Young.
Or Trey Young for mixing over NBA here. I think the most likely outcome here is you're probably looking at defensive line.
Yeah.
Because you've got Jaron Reed is not living up to expectations. Carlos Dunlap's played well, but he's expensive, might not be back. That leaves Benson Mayowa. I like Poona Ford as a run stopper. It's not a great defensive tackle class. Maybe you find someone good in round 2. Like a Christian Barmore would be a fun pick. DT out of Alabama. I don't know where J. Tufele goes out of USC. That could be a fit there too. I think if you're Seattle, we've said this a lot. It's probably got to be either front 4 or if you lose your corners in free agency, cornerback.
Anthony, you're next up here, but dude, come on, gotta get a picture. To improve my Dolphins' backup quarterback situation, I understand Fitzpatrick is fine. Should we trade for Carson Wentz?
No, because you have to pay Carson Wentz $25 million.
And I do believe Fitzpatrick's going to go somewhere else. I don't know if the Dolphins end up bringing him back. He is a free agent. I wish
Carson Wentz was vet minimum, sure. But even in a trade, he's going to cost you $25 million. And that doesn't make any sense for a team that has their young franchise guy in Tua.
Super chat time. Jay Crean, much love, dude. What position do the Raiders need to improve most desperately? Edge rusher and probably safety. I mean, if I could go out and get somebody in free agency like a Justin Simmons, like an Anthony Harris, or edge rushers-wise, I mean, maybe a Yannick Ngakoue. If you want to improve that defensive line front, going out and get a Leonard Williams, I'd be all for it.
You looking for a free safety or a strong safety?
Free safety. You already have Jonathan Abram.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So how about you? We obviously mocked Kwity Paye in round 1. How you feel about Javon Holland? Andre
Is he a true free safety?
He played a lot of nickel for Oregon. I don't think you want him in the box, so he's probably a free safety.
Okay. Hey, the Raiders need a free safety because I can't watch Eric Harris try to cover people anymore. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button. If you don't want to break your computer, just put your finger over your mouse, click sub, or if you're on your phone, just a little tap. That's all it needs. Seriously, hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notifications. That way you don't miss any videos here at Chat Sports. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, dropping a new video on your lap. Well, maybe not your lap. On your screen every single 3 hours. You're not going to want to miss them. This one's coming in. Gary Sanderson, top coaching candidates for the Chargers if Lynn is fired. When Lynn is fired.
Yeah, when he's fired. Great question. I am very curious to see which route the Chargers go. Now, at some level, you don't want to deal with another new coordinator, play caller for Justin Herbert.
Sure.
I don't love Shane Steichen, I think is how you pronounce his name. So I wouldn't mind pursuing an offensive mind. Eric Bieniemy, if you want to poach a Chiefs guy, I think that should be someone that
Eric
they
Bieniemy
consider.
should be on top of almost everyone's list.
I would be tempted by Joe Brady. Although I think the Bengals
Oh,
should go.
man.
I think the Bengals should hire him and fire Zach Turner.
Fair.
If you're looking to go defensive mind and then keep your offensive guy, you could go with a Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
You could try and lure a Matt Eberflus, a Brian Daboll as well. I don't know if you want to go the retread route, but I think there are some young offensive minds that you can try to pursue.
Gary, I
which is what most
promise
teams wanna do.
you one thing, and everyone watching: when the Chargers fire Lynn, we're gonna make a video. Top 10 candidates that the Chargers should hire. So seriously, hit that sub button. This one's coming in from Mark. My words. Okay. The Falcons will trade up
Sticking to
for
a bit. I
Justin
like it.
Fields. All right, so you're okay. I
Bet.
didn't even see what you did there. Bet.
Bet.
Let's say the Falcons are, what are they right now? 8?
Yeah, they're pretty far down.
So they're 8. They trade up for Justin Fields. Is he a better quarterback than Matt Ryan?
Year one.
Year one,
Probably
probably
not.
not. But Justin Fields.
Matt Ryan is
obviously
also,
Georgia.
the way that contract is structured, it's a little tough to move on. So you would not be saving money.
Okay.
You would be sacrificing this year's draft and next year's draft to go up to 2 or 3 in all likelihood to get Fields. Now,
Yep.
maybe there's a scenario in which the Jags surprise and take a let's say Zach Wilson at 2 if the order stays the same. Bengals take Penei Sewell. Maybe at that point you could get from 8 to 4.
Okay.
That might be your path. But if Justin Fields goes 2, you're not going to be able to trade up and get him. He has to be the third quarterback off the board. With the way the board is sitting right now, unless the Jags or Jets win a bunch of games down the stretch, you're going to have a very tough time getting into those top 2 picks.
All right, we're going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. Pick a quarterback, Matt Ryan or Justin Fields. Who would you rather have as your quarterback going forward? Obviously, Matt Ryan's probably better short term. Justin Fields is obviously the guy you want long term. Put your GM cap on. MR for Matt Ryan, JF for Justin Fields. Gia, how can the Patriots make the playoff?
With a miracle.
I mean, they're 6-6, but their schedule's tough coming down the stretch.
Things are not.
It's tough.
They're just not in a good position to find a way to get a postseason run going because you've already got the Browns at 9 wins. The Dolphins are at 8 wins. The Colts are at 8 wins. The Patriots are 2 games back of the final wild card spot.
See, what they need is
you're
honestly,
looking at maybe a 10% chance of making it.
you need to continue to try to obviously win out your games, but if the Raiders beat the Colts and the Dolphins and you had the same record as the Raiders, the Patriots would have the tiebreaker over the Raiders. So, yeah, you kind of shot yourself earlier on in the year, but they are at least playing some solid football. I thought this said Christopher Biatches. Possible Gilmore
Christopher Babachis.
Oh, possible Gilmore sweepstakes for next season. I doubt it.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Belichick has always been, I move on from a guy a year early than a year too late. And with Gilmore, you're kind of in this position of what do you end up going with here? Do you pay Gilmore and extend him? And if the answer is no, probably time to move on from him.
Okay.
And if that's the case, I do think you end up trading him. So I think there is a possibility.
Okay. It's Frager. Could you see John Dorsey rebuilding a team again like he did with the Browns and KC, even though he sucks at hiring coaches?
How much credit do we really want to give John Dorsey for Cleveland and Kansas City? In all seriousness, how much credit do we give? Because Dorsey didn't really pick Mahomes. That was more Brett Veach's pick.
True.
Dorsey had the most draft capital ever and didn't really maximize it. Sashi Brown got all those picks. So I like John Dorsey. I think he got fired way too quickly in Cleveland, but I don't know how much credit I want to give to him for the Browns and Chiefs positions. Because, yeah, he wasn't good at hiring coaches. And at that point, that's like your GM has 2 main jobs. Make sure your coach is good, get a quarterback, and then draft good. And he was, let's just say, 1.5 or 3.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know how much credit I want to give him in the end.
I have two jobs when I come in every day. 1, make NFL videos. 2, find the best content for you guys out there, maybe the best deals. We got an awesome deal going on right now, chatsports.com/jersey deal. If you need a brand new jersey for less than $80, look no further. Now, I don't mean to brag, But we also have some NFL jerseys for $63.99. All you got to do to get one, go to chatsports.com/jersey deal. We're going to put the link in the live chat, in the comments, and in the description. So if for some reason you can't remember chatsports.com/jersey deal, you can maybe go ahead and look down there. Click on it. Awesome holiday gifts. Jerseys come in sizes like small, all the way up to like 4XL. Comes in youth, women's. We got you covered. Chatsports.com/jersey deal.
A lot of these are under $80 too. Like substantially discounted. You can find some older jerseys of like different schemes, like the Falcons. I think better jerseys are substantially discounted. It's a good deal. I go to that instead.
Ryan H., if Devonta Smith or Bateman fell to the Raiders, would you get either?
You can take this question, man.
So both are obviously very talented. However, I don't really think that wide receiver is a major need there because you also have Bryan Edwards, who the Raiders do really like and are hoping to get the most out of. I mean, let's face it. The offense isn't the issue. The biggest issue is the defense. Yeah. You're giving up 28 points per game. I mean, you're down there with teams like the New York Jets in terms of overall defense. I'm saying you got to get somebody on the offense or on the defensive line. If you don't have anybody on the offensive line because you get rid of some of your other guys, maybe you go that route. Safety, defensive line. That's where I'm going. All right, Akash, can the Browns steal the AFC North?
Probably not. I think it's pretty unlikely.
Cleveland does play Pittsburgh, though.
You're looking at maybe you have to have a lot of help.
Oh, yeah.
You're probably looking at maybe a 10% chance would be my guess. And I think it's a lot more likely they get one of the top wild card spots instead.
So you're saying there's a chance. Mm-hmm. Cole Allen, I see the 49ers taking a quarterback round 1 and a cornerback round 2. Your thoughts?
I like that. I think that's a dream outcome for San Francisco is something along the lines of Zach Wilson falls, or they trade up to get Zach Wilson. They keep their second-round pick in the process and take like a Tyson Campbell out of Georgia. Okay. I think that's the ideal outcome for San Francisco. Unless they lose a bunch of more games down the stretch, I'm not sure they're going to be in stand pat and get one of those top 4 quarterbacks. And I don't know if they want to go Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, or even like a Desmond Ridder in round 1 or even round 2 potentially. Cornerback in round 2, though, if they get a quarterback, makes a lot of sense for them, yeah.
This might be Trey Lance's burner YouTube account. Bison Born. Bison. Okay, my mistake.
The S is pronounced like a Z.
Who is going to draft Trey Lance, a quarterback out of North Dakota State?
A lot of this comes down to the draft order and what teams could trade. So I'll give you a bunch of different options, and we'll go in order of the current things, right? Jets and Jags, I assume, go different quarterbacks.
Yep.
Bengals probably don't. Chargers don't. Cowboys, unless they're stupid. Eagles probably don't. So then I think with where you're at right now with pick number 7, you're in Panthers range. Maybe Falcons. That could work if you want to sit Trey Lance for a year. Dolphins, no. I don't think Broncos, but maybe. I don't think Lions, but maybe. And then you've kind of got this sweet spot of either they lose more games or they trade up. Washington, Chicago, San Francisco. You can throw in New England there if you want to. Those, I think, are good landing spots for Trey Lance.
Okay.
We will see where those teams end up falling in the draft order and just how the NFL views all these teams here.
All right, so out of the 2 quarterbacks that you see on screen, because I'm right now looking down in the chat, and somebody said, hey, I would take Kyle Trask over Trey Lance, so shout out to producer Sam for making this real quick. TL for Trey Lance or KT for Kyle Trask? Who's the better NFL quarterback?
NFL prospect, I'm going to go Trey Lance. And okay. I know that Trask has been awesome at Florida. I've been very impressed by him. Please don't get me wrong on that front. But I think the high-end attributes the NFL teams covet these days, mobility, arm strength, even like downfield accuracy, I think Lance is better in those areas. So I'm going to type in TL. I think college-wise, it's probably been Kyle Trask here. He's been awesome.
Matthew B., can the Cowboys trade for a good defensive tackle?
Define good and who's on the market. Like, the issue for Dallas is they've spent some day 2 picks on defensive tackles, Tristan Hill and Gallimore. Hill showed some promise, then got hurt, was bad his first year.
You want Malik Collins?
No, I don't want Malik Collins. Neville Gallimore's been inconsistent. I don't know what DTs are going to be available. So from that perspective, kind of in a weird spot.
Super chat coming in from Carter Federhoff. Have you seen any Nick Bolton highlights? Linebacker out of Mizzou. He's a stud and should move up on the board, in my opinion. Before you answer, we always play a game during our NFL draft, and if Tom doesn't know someone, he takes a drink. Tom, do you know who this is?
Well, also he put linebacker out of Missouri on there.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
But
honestly.
yes. To answer your question, Carter, I have watched Nick Bolton. I got a couple Mizzou game cut-ups that I've been able to see. I like him quite a bit. In fact, I actually almost put him in round 1 of my mock draft.
Okay.
I don't know. There's some good kind of late round 1, early day 2 linebackers. I went Xavier Collins and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah instead. Bolton is right there. And then I think he's actually moved ahead of Dylan Moses out of Alabama. I like what Nick Bolton does. I think he's a good athlete. I think he reads stuff well, can do some coverage stuff. I like him quite a bit. I've been impressed. I think he's the top 50 pick this year.
It's Trip. When do the Falcons get a new quarterback if this year, you think Mac Jones is a good fit?
I actually don't mind the idea of Mac Jones because I don't think you're not going to spend the 8th overall pick on him in all likelihood. That might allow you to take Mac Jones in round 2 or round 3 if you get lucky and develop him for a year. So I don't mind that fit for Mac Jones in Atlanta. It doesn't require him to be your guy year 1, but it sets him up to be your guy long term behind Matt Ryan, and you can still try and compete with him on the current or under his kind of hefty contract.
If we missed your questions during our NFL Live, we apologize. Again, you can always just blame producer Sam. Seriously, though, we had a lot of questions come in, and we always feel bad that we can't get to them all. But, hey, if you want to hit me up on Instagram, I'm at MitchellRenz365. I'll take your fantasy NFL questions. If you have anything regarding the NFL draft, seriously, you got to hit up Tom. He's literally the best in the biz. At WhatGoingDowney on Twitter. Again, we apologize, but we appreciate everyone that did tune in and watches all of our shows here at Chat Sports. Hit us up. The DMs, they're open for a reason.